Welcome to the Trash Cats Trashcast. I'm Richard.
I'm Steven.
How the fuck you been, Steven?
I've been okay. I had a weird night last night, though.
Oh, yeah?
Got a little interesting. So, it's like midnight, right? And it's not a midnight snack. That's when I eat dinner, right? So I go to the kitchen. Sarah's with me, and I peek out the window because I'm paranoid as fuck, and I always check the windows. I have to check the surroundings at night. And I see a little white puffball. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? And I look out the window, and this little white kitten hops up to the window. And she starts meowing. And she is like, it's like concerning meows. Like she was in pain.
Oh, no.
And it was cold out and super windy. And I end up going out, like in my robe, and she's kind of like moving, like almost rabid. Like she was like freaked out and kind of like staggering around and like darting towards me and then backing away real quick. Like she was like kind of loopy, right? Mm-hmm. But she won't stop meowing. And it's like incessantly like she's hurt.
Oh, geez.
And I'm like, fuck. I didn't want her to get close to me because we got healthy cats inside. And I don't know if she's sick. And it ends up playing out. We get a bowl of food for her. And she slammed 2 bowls of food in like 10 minutes. Like a pound of cat food.
God damn.
It was a lot of fucking food. And she's a kitten. And I think she was... So here's the crazy part. I saw the Holy Trinity. I saw God on earth, right? We got the kitten, sick kitten. I think she was making so much noise because I hear what I think to be footsteps in my backyard. The backyard goes to woods, and there's often like homeless people and prostitutes that like will go into the woods back there. And I hear someone walking, and I'm like I grabbed a bat and was like yelling into the darkness because I thought this was for sure a person doing something fucked. Turns out it's a big ass possum.
Oh shit.
A big ass possum. And it's rolling around and it's hissing at me because the cat's on the porch with me. We made a box for her. So the cat's scared. There's a possum. I'm in the middle of a standoff, right? Mm-hmm. I chase the possum off, and we're deciding what we do with the cat. We end up getting like a 3rd bowl of food out there, and I go in for a little bit, look up where I could take her at 1 a.m. at this point. I'm having trouble finding much. I look back outside. She's gone. And instead, inside the box I put out for her, is a big-ass raccoon. The size of a bear, dude. So I sold the Holy Trinity, the cat, possum, and raccoon within 30 minutes of each other.
The incredible trash cats.
Yeah, I was touched, frankly.
The holy trash cats.
Yeah, it changed me. But yeah, aside from that, just more of the same. It does feel like forever since we recorded, but doing okay. What's new on your end?
What's actually funny that you had a run-in with some trash cats because my mom just got a new cat. She's fostering a cat right now.
Oh, damn.
Pretty sure it's going to work out because it's getting along with her cat. But we met with the people from the shelter, and they were telling us about the cat, and they were saying that he was found as a kitten with his brother, his sisters in a dumpster.
Oh yeah.
It's like, oh, he's a legitimate trash cat.
Fuck yeah, he's got street cred.
Yeah, he's got street cred. So he was about 3 months when they found him, and he's about 8 months now. So he's been in the system for a minute, and
just out of juvie.
Yeah, just got out of juvie. He's doing good though. He's much more comfortable around cats than people. He's kind of people shy, but he's doing well with my mom. So
that's awesome.
Add a new trash cat to the family.
Yeah. I know you know this one, but I got my first cat that I could keep as an adult from a Taco Bell parking lot.
Hell yeah.
I was
that's what's up.
Yeah, man. I was shooting dope in my car at Hawaiian Terrace. I decided to skirt to Taco Bell at like 3 a.m. and it's raining, and inside a puddle is just a little, like a less than 1 month old kitten, just like floating in a puddle, dude. She was fucked up. I just scooped her up, got some Taco Bell, and I fed her some of my my 3-layer burrito, and we were best friends.
Here, get this Crunchwrap Supreme in you. You'll be all right.
You'll be good in no time.
Here's a Baja Blast.
Feeding her Baja Blast with a straw. Oh fuck, man.
God damn. This is our lives.
Yeah, man. It's been feeling, life's been feeling pretty trashy lately. That's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, other than the new cat, it's been pretty much uneventful, but we were just talking about when we hopped on that, like, time feels like it's moving. It feels like it's been a while since I talked to you last, since we recorded, but also it feels like it was yesterday.
Yeah, I'm with you.
It's the shit. Like, you messaged me the other day about dropping the episode, and I was like, oh fuck, it's Tuesday already. When does it happen?
Do you feel like you're losing life? Alright, I've been, like, we've talked about this, but I'm, like, deeply upset about feeling like I'm losing time. I never, like, money would always be a bigger priority because it was what I needed more, and now I feel at a loss with time. I feel like even if I'm doing positive things, I feel like I'm losing. Like, shit is decaying. I'm decaying.
Yeah.
I don't feel good about how things are going.
Yes and no. Sometimes I get existential about it. More often than not, though, because I started feeling that way. I think it's the work. You've been working a steady day job for a while.
This is the longest I've worked one job.
Yeah, so I feel like
that's not true, but a job that mattered.
Yeah. So I started feeling it when it was work, when I realized I was midway through my 20s, and it was like I just work all the time. It's all I do is work. It's like, well, I'm young, and I'm able to do this work now. I'm like grinding, and I'm putting in a lot of hours. So I feel like this is the time to do it. Technically we're still young, although it's with how fast life moves, it's easy to let that kind of slip away or to feel the opposite. But, we're still young. We got plenty of fucking time left.
I feel that a bit, and I'm trying to remind myself that this is the time, and I am dedicated to doing what I'm doing for a while. I've been grinding hard, and I'm getting some of the fruits of my labor, and my life's changing a lot. But in one sense, it makes it like logical to think like, hey, we got plenty of time. This is, we're like 30, whatever. But I don't feel guaranteed to that, and I don't know if that's the right way to think. I never used to want to think that way, or wasn't capable of it, and now I feel like I'm slipping into that kind of thinking, and I don't really like it.
I get where you're coming from. I usually think about it more. I think about it more often. In the last couple of years, I think about what my time is worth to me. More so than just like money wise. Cause that's how I used to put a value on my time is, dollars per hour. And I do that a lot less now. where I'll think to myself, like different TV shows, especially when people tell me to like, oh, you gotta check out the show, you gotta do, or even shows that I like that I'm like behind on. It's like, fuck, how many hours is that of my life?
To me, those are worth it if they're good enough.
If they're good enough, but here's the other thing is like the binging them. Like certain days make sense of like, I'm not planning on leaving the house. I don't feel like doing anything else creative or whatever. Then it's fine.
What is your time worth? Let's do that.
I mean, it's different. It depends on the day. It's
a day of your life.
I guess it's more of that it changes per circumstance. It's like, is it worth my time to, cook a dope meal, or is it worth it to?
No, let's.
This is the way I see it, because it's not.
You die tomorrow.
Yeah.
How much is a day of your life worth?
Like monetarily?
Yeah.
A day of my life. I mean, if I look at it per like dollars per hour, we're talking $200-$300 ish, which isn't much, but it's.
Is that what it's worth to you?
I mean, yeah. I mean, like, okay, so if someone said like, "Hey, I could use your help for the day," and they gave me, or that someone hired me for a thing, I don't know. Like, I'm trying to like put it into a way where it's not a hypothetical so much. If we're trying to,
I have a hypothetical.
Give it to me.
All right. You're laying in bed, right?
Yeah.
You're pondering your life. I appear. I am Satan. And I stand before you. And I say, Richard, here is the contract. You just told me, and you can adjust this if you want, but you just told me a day of your life is worth $200 to $300. I have a contract in front of you, and you get to choose how many days of your life. You don't know how long you're going to live, but you get to choose how many days of your life you want to sacrifice, and I will pay you that money right now. How many days would you give up?
Oh, okay.
That's
so
what you're saying. Like, that's what a day of your life is actually worth.
You're saying like cut it off from the end,
but you don't know when.
Yeah, you don't know. You don't know when it's going to be anyway. So you're just you're taking days off from the latter end of it, and for a benefit now. I
mean, I feel like that's a good analogy for what a day of your life would actually be worth.
I mean, to be fair, I still don't think that that's too far off. I mean, like, because the way I see it, I can't really value my time at much more than that because.
Why?
Well, not monetarily, at least. That's the thing. I don't look at it that way anymore.
But money is just the amount you are attaching to it.
Right. So what I'm saying is I don't want to attach it. I don't want to describe it monetarily because the way I see it is, at least with, like what I'm doing now or whatever, like that's the way I feel is like, that's how much I could potentially make in a day if I went out and hustled. If we had like a long day at work and I made some good tips, that's about what I'm bringing home.
Are you willing to trade a day of your life for that amount of money?
I mean, you do it all the time, right? You do it every time you go to work.
And that's why I feel frustrated, because I feel a day in my life is worth, I would pay a lot more than I am trading to get a day of my life back.
I mean, that's fair. I don't disagree with you. I'm used to it. Well, that's the other thing is I enjoy my work enough. I get satisfaction out of my work that most people probably don't. So it's worth that experience is a benefit in the way that a lot of people don't have when they go to work.
Yeah, and I'm willing to make the trade for now, and it would probably be a trade I make for longer than I'd like. But I feel very strongly, and I think you do too, in a way. I think most people do, that the time we are trading is not worth it.
Let me ask you this. In that time, instead of work, what would you rather do?
Art, podcast, writing, watching a movie.
So mostly things that are either inexpensive or don't cost anything at all.
Yeah, I'd be good at being homeless. I've never had to be full homeless. I've definitely had lots of my life where I didn't have a place that I could call home, but I've never had to like do it on the streets for real. But I feel like I can. I don't know if my level of happiness would change much, and I also I don't really give a fuck about being happy.
Well, let me ask you this. So, besides a roof over your head and food in your belly, what would you spend money on? So let's just, if you're, what do you have? What do you look? Is there anything that you look forward to? Materials wise. Like for me, it's like, I guess I look forward to like, I've been looking forward to like decorating shit and like, painting the house. So like I'm thinking about like goofy shit like that, but it's like, as far as things for pleasure, I don't really like me getting myself new socks or like new, clothes or something like that's I more or less see that as a luxury thing.
Yeah, and I enjoy those things. I enjoy, having a TV to play video games on, and like it's cool if I get new socks, but I don't care about my clothes, my car, my house. I feel totally content with wearing pajamas all week and having a shitty computer to work on. Really, the only things I spend money on at all sober are still drugs. They're still chemicals. They're just not hard drug. It's caffeine and nicotine. That's literally the only thing I spend money on besides food, like at all, pretty much. So your job is beer money. It's not beer money, but you know what I mean. It's for, it's the equivalent, sure.
It's for your your substances and also for Xbox Live.
Sure, and I think there's like a mistake in the math, maybe for both of us in different ways. Mm-hmm. But who the fuck knows we're guaranteed that? Like, if we were dead tomorrow or next week, I would be very frustrated with how the last X amount of months have been. Would you feel that way, or do you feel like you're living like close enough to your truth or whatever that you wouldn't feel regret?
I either feel that, or I'm comfortable enough with it that it's I don't know. Like I feel that way, or my brain is conditioned to tell me that I am living comfortably enough that I'm satisfied.
Oh, that's jerky.
And here, because here's the other thing is that, if you died tomorrow thing, that I feel like you can only take that so far. And because I use that argument too for a lot of shit, but there comes a point where, you know, like the alternative is you don't have a job or you don't have work. And then you don't have a roof over your head. You don't have food in your stomach.
I don't. All right, this is where maybe I'll reveal a little bit of myself or some shitty parts of myself. There's no way I would ever have to go without a roof. And that sounds like super privileged in a lot of ways, but even if I'm using drugs, there's a way to, even if it's not in a bad way, but you can manipulate people to meet your needs.
Let me say, you don't have your own roof over your head.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
Like I'm a cockroach. I will survive.
Yeah.
I will survive regardless. And here's where I think if we had, let's say we had a year left and we're trading a significant portion of our week to meet those needs and have those luxuries, if that is fulfilling enough, that is awesome. The downside is like, what if I gave that up and I live relatively more miserably, but in that last 6 months, last year of life, whatever, you accomplish or build things that are worth it. Like I don't want, I think if you do, like I get frustrated with people that don't work, just are high, whatever, if they don't do anything. But I feel like if you're using that time for something else that feels equally or more valuable, it becomes a much more worthy consideration.
I feel that.
It's just, I'm still willing to make the trade for now, but I don't feel like I have that long.
I'm realizing that if you were to ask me this at any of my other jobs I've ever had, I would answer a lot differently.
That's good, right?
Oh, that's very good.
Yeah.
I'm in a place, this is the first job I've ever had where I feel like I have a work to life ratio that's balanced.
And I do too. That's the thing, is I've worked a lot crazier hours. This is so chill for me. It's just,
I mean, even still, you're working like 40 hours a week right now, right?
Yeah.
I'm working a lot less than that because it's off season. But it's like, I don't know. I feel like it's the first time, because even when I was working, you know, like around 40 hours a week or so, you know, it's generally like my last job was like 45 or so. I just felt like I was always exhausted. And even now I feel like there's so much of my time where it's like I'm strapped for shit. Like I don't, you know, I get out of work on Saturday and it's like, fuck, I just want to go home. And part of it's also because, like, you know, who do I know up here that's going to want to go out and do something right now? Like I got drinks with Natalie last week or a couple weeks ago, and that was dope. And I mean, otherwise
a couple weeks ago though.
Yeah. And it's like my cousin is here, but you know, he's got the girls and his family and shit. And so like, that's also like, you know, Saturday's like his day off, and it's like hard to, you know, ask someone like spur of the moment, hey, let's go get drinks. I know you got to do shit. And then also like, I feel like I want to go home and like put my feet up for a minute because I've been up since, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
But then like, otherwise everyone that I know works during the week. So like making time with other people is harder. I don't know. I feel like even if I had more options, I enjoy my solitude enough that I forget how I got off on this rant here.
I'm not sure.
You know, we were talking about the value of our time, and I somehow went off on the how isolated I put myself. Oh, my work-life balance thing. Like, I still feel like I make more time for myself, or I dedicate more time to myself. And I have more time available now, but I still don't want to. I don't know, maybe it's just because I feel like I'm making up for lost time of not having personal time, or not having time to do the shit I want and to think about the shit I want to think about for the last 10, 12 years. So
yeah, the pendulum is swinging a different way. I feel strongly that one of the only reasons we live or have conscious experiences is to learn how to die, or to give our death meaning. And I would feel devastated if I saw the rest of my life as working 40 hours a week and having a house, and that's it. I would feel devastated by that. I've always wanted a lot more, and I'm willing to give up my happiness to get there, but I don't know how much time I'm willing to trade when that time traded doesn't feel like it's in service of what I want. So I feel stuck. I'm okay though. Like, I feel like this is what I need to be doing right now. I don't feel like so uncomfortable by it. Like, this is helping me get to a position where I can make better moves that hopefully, but I just don't want it to be this way forever. Yeah.
That does make it harder too when you don't see the end of the road, or you don't see what's coming up next, and it's like, how long am I going to be here?
Yeah, that was my thing. One of my biggest, that was one of my big things with sobriety, was they always want you to say, like, you're going to stay sober for sure, or you're staying sober X amount of days or this long, or that once you're sober, you're staying sober forever. You count your days, all that shit. I think that's such a garbage, bullshit, weak-willed way to think about that. Because I will not stay sober if someone is forcing me to. If the probation officer, jail, whoever, if they tell me I have to, it is much more difficult. And if I have a rough idea how long I'm sober this time around, but I don't ever think about how long, and I make the choice every day on if I'm going to use or not. I reserve that choice. I want to have that option and choose.
Having that choice and making that choice yourself is what empowers you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What you need control of the situation, and you don't like authority figures.
Yeah, for sure.
So for you, that just works. I was just talking to my coworker today. We were talking about, like, you make, the analogy was, like hiking or jogging or something, and it's like you make these small goals for yourself, and you're like, all right, just up to that next rock, or up to, I'll keep going a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get there and you can make that choice at that point, is like, do I turn back, or I'm good, I can keep going. But you're making those small goals, those small check-ins, and you feel more control over the situation, and you feel more success, because it's like, you make a large list of a bunch of small shit, and like you can just start crossing shit off, and it's like that awesome feeling of just crossing shit off a list, even if it took you 10 minutes to do 5 things on it. It's like it just feels empowering.
Yeah, it's the same as, I think that's why not knowing, like, even if things are stable, not knowing how long you're going to do a job you don't feel like deeply fulfilled by, that lack of control or empowerment is very concerning. But I just feel like most people are locked into doing things they don't want to do for most of their time. And it feels, the more like luxuries you get from doing it, I feel like the easier it is to like give in to that, to accepting that's what you're going to do.
I'm telling you, man, you and Sarah should move up here and come sling smoothies with me. It's a good gig, man.
It would be fun.
Just hang out on the truck together.
I've never seriously considered living anywhere else, and I think at some point I would want to like play with that, but I don't know, dude.
Yeah, you're gonna die in Cincinnati.
I mean, it's tattooed on my wrist. Cradle to grave.
That makes me sad.
I don't know. Everyone's always hated Cincinnati, right? I've hated Cincinnati, but
where else have you gone though?
I've gone a lot of places. I just haven't stayed anywhere long. I've been all over Midwest, Chicago. I haven't been to the West Coast at all, but I've gone.
I haven't either. Denver's the furthest I've gone.
Alaska, Ireland. I haven't done Europe, or like, I mean, there's more.
You went to Alaska?
Yeah, it sucks, dude. Fuck that place. What a trash place, dude. You get there, there's 100 bald eagles at a time. Like, you think a bald eagle is all majestic and special and like symbol of our great piece of shit nation. You go to Alaska, there's 100 of them covered in blood eating roadkill. Fuck Alaska.
Fuck Alaska.
Yeah, fuck Alaska. Any Alaskan listeners can fuck right off. In Ireland, oh my god, what a disgusting place. What a terrible, terrible land of potato munchers. Fuck you, Ireland.
I will say, let me say this. As someone, I've been to, abroad-wise, I've been to Brussels, Paris, Florence, Venice, Rome, Pune, India, and Mumbai. And I feel like in all of those places, I get that because I've heard this from other people too. Like you become very thankful to be in America. Just from like a basic.
No.
Let me continue here. So like you go to any store, and you want soap or you want like deodorant. They have one deodorant. You're like, all right, this is my experience. I was like 12 or 13 in Paris. It was like you go into like a mall and there's like your selection is like limited, and you think of like all the bountiful harvests and all of your grocery stores and all of the selections and options you have available to you, and it's
you need more than one deodorant.
No, but I'm saying you have the option to.
You like luxury.
The dry stick chafes my armpit. I can't use it. I got to use the gel.
I would rather use the driest stick deodorant for the rest of my life than have to look at an aisle of different deodorants.
Well, I mean, that's fair too, but
like when I see an aisle of shampoo or deodorant,
you don't have to look at it for that long if you know the one that works for you, that doesn't break you out into a fucking rash.
That's the thing, though. I sit there and I think about shooting myself in the face. I can feel my face explode over and over again, opposed to looking at all that stupid shit. I understand it is better. Like, capitalism works. Our version of capitalism is fucked. And we need policy changes, but capitalism is what works. It's what allows luxury and wealth, and also the terrible destruction of a lot of people. But it mostly.
But we have all the deodorant you could ever ask for.
Exactly, but like an aisle of cereal boxes makes me sick.
Oh man, There's so many fucking different cereals out there now.
I love. I
don't buy cereal. I haven't bought cereal in years.
But doesn't that feel disgusting? Like, doesn't Trader Joe's like make your soul sick?
I mean, a little bit, yeah.
I feel like I'm bleeding out. Like I'm dying in places like that.
But also I don't know, but do you know what I mean when I say, like, when you go other places, you're you might not be thinking like, oh, I can't wait to get back to America. But you get here and you're like, okay, this is familiar. I'm comfortable here.
I do. And
yeah,
you've always said you find places yourself when you travel.
Yeah. Wherever you travel, you find pieces of yourself you didn't know existed.
When I travel, I lose pieces of myself. Okay, dude. Like, going to Italy sounds great, right? But the idea of getting on a plane, that alone will make me skip that trip. I love the idea of it, and I'm sure if I lived or, did it as an adult on my own for the first time, whatever, like, it could be a different experience, but I don't think it matters where I am. Like, it's the same thing. I don't feel much different than I was when I was using. I don't feel much different by money. I don't feel much different by a job, and I don't feel much different regardless of what city I'm in. Like, all those things can affect the outside and, like, make some bit of a difference in hopefully positive ways, but it doesn't change anything for me. And
if you could go one place outside of our country, where would you go?
I think I'd like to go to Japan.
I was just gonna say, when I save up enough money to fucking go to Japan, are you coming with me?
That'd be dope. I would love that.
It's gotta be more fun with a group.
Yeah.
You and Sarah and me, and if you're listening to this and you want to be my plus one to Japan.
Some strangers.
So I definitely want to hit up Kyoto.
All right, here. What about getting arrested though? Like,
What about getting arrested?
Dude, I don't know, man. I feel like it wouldn't be all that difficult to imagine myself getting fucked over by some Japanese police or whatever country, unless it's like a very high tolerance. They
won't let you in certain places in some cities because of your tattoos. So you'll have to wear some long sleeves and gloves.
I'm just used
and
to
a face and a ski mask.
I'm used to being a lifelong criminal. So anytime any country with like higher stakes drug laws, even if I know I'm good, I feel sketched out because
we're not getting drugs in Japan.
No, but here's the thing is they still see you that way. And it makes me anxious. Like you know what I mean? Like,
I get what you mean. There's still the 16-year-old part of my brain that's whenever I see a cop in the distance, I'm like I'm not speeding, I'm not doing anything wrong. Yeah, exactly.
Run. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always feel that way.
I'm a white dude in America. I have nothing to be afraid of from the cops. I don't do crime.
It's mostly true, but you never fucking know. You just never know how fast things can change with a cop. Even the most benign shit can change by circumstances out of your control.
Right.
And I feel much more confident and like chill in situations with police, but I still if it's still the one of the few things I will say I am deeply afraid of prison. I know I can do it. But
no one fucking wants to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, fuck that.
Cops, I'm afraid of them because I don't know what's going to happen. I don't want to spend any time. If I see a cop and can avoid that interaction, I will do whatever I can. And a Japanese cop, oh god,
the language barrier makes it a little bit more difficult.
They'll cut off my head in the street.
It can make you commit seppuku in the street.
Yeah, over a traffic ticket. I'm not taking any chances.
Over a jaywalking ticket.
You could see it. American terrorist jailed in Japan over jaywalking.
Well, the good news is there's a city up here, like I think it's in Ferndale. Actually, someone told me there's a new cat cafe.
Nice, that'd be fun.
So next time y'all are in town, we can go to the cat cafe.
We were just talking about getting those stupid ass backpacks with the window for the cats.
Oh yeah. Those are adorable. You should definitely do that.
I think we're going to. I do really want to go to New Zealand.
Oh yeah, go to the Shire.
Yeah. Fuck the Hobbits, okay? All this shit, alright. Lord of the Rings, it's great when you're 16. But a black metal band naming their shit like from Hobbits or ring curse words, like all these adults that love Hobbits are fucking losers. Okay? If you really love elves and hobbits, you're a fucking loser. Grow the fuck up. And I have this fight with my significant other all the time. Okay, she loves Warcraft. I understand it's fun. Games in imaginary lands fun. But how can people love elves? Tell me, Rick.
Hey, a lot of people want to fuck some elves.
I don't get it, man. I just can't.
Yeah, that part I get. I enjoy a lot of fantasy shit too, but it's basically it stops there. Like it stops at like, oh, I like to play Skyrim, but I don't know, it doesn't carry over. I like to play D&D.
I do understand.
I do like talking to people that like don't get it when people ask me about like D&D and they're like, so is it like a video game or like a card game? And you have to like explain it to them and you're like, no, it's just a bunch of dickheads sitting around a table talking about orcs and shit. And it's like we're all playing pretend. It's just a group of adults playing pretend.
Oh man. Dude, I did see some crazy good movies this week. I had a good film week. This was top-notch film week.
Okay.
I have one for you. Specifically, it's on HBO. You can use my Sam's account.
Yeah.
Nightmare Alley. Oh my dude. Incredible. Beautiful movie. It is the closest a movie has come to explaining why the fuck I will use heroin. It is so fucking good, but it's about circus shit, and it is dark. It is probably the darkest thing I've seen in a while.
Okay.
You'll like it, I promise. And then I got two more. I just gotta shout them out because they're really fucking good. Have you seen Snatch?
Oh, it's been a long time, but yeah.
Same, dude. I forgot how good that was. I wish they edited movies that way. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They don't do enough of that. I forgot Brad Pitt was in it altogether. But I hadn't seen that in a long time. And then
I think that's the only thing I remember about it.
Oh my god, The King of the Gypsies. It's a British gangster movie. I don't know if it's
Gypsies.
King of the Gypsies. He's an gypsy king. And then City of Lost Children. Are you familiar?
No.
Dude, it is a weird movie. It's the type of aesthetic that for sure inspired things like BioShock or
yeah.
It's got such a distinct artistic style. It's very abstract, but it's very dark, very abstract, but it's beautiful too. It looks incredible for its time. But I've really been enjoying movie stuff lately, and I've been trying to write, but it's just not coming easily. I appreciate dialogue so much more than I used to.
I watched one movie, and I started a series. I watched the new Jackass movie.
Yeah,
that was actually, it was pretty good. My hopes weren't very high.
There's always fun.
I laughed out loud a couple of times.
That's pretty good, I guess.
Yeah.
That was the last time he was going to do the bull stunts.
Oh, yeah, it should be. He shouldn't have done it this time at all.
I know.
He's a fucking idiot.
He's an
old man now.
Yeah. Dude, I just love that recklessness. Like, I was in the car. I think I figured out why I don't listen to music anymore. I put on Ride with My Biscuit by Shakewell
Yeah.
in the car today, and I about lost my goddamn mind. I was like, this is why I can't listen to music, because I can't drive with it anymore. I just immediately want to do crazy shit. I was like,
Yeah.
I get way too hyped. I'm like ready to do anything and everything.
Put on some death metal and realize I'm going 15 over, and it's like, okay,
Yeah.
calm the fuck down. I found that music is really good for me for monotonous labor.
And working out.
Or for working out, it's great.
I work out in silence. like
You're
a
an
warrior.
Yeah, you're an animal. When like we're doing like line service and we have the kitchen line or whatever, like music is it's a requirement.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's podcasts.
Do you miss podcaster? Do you miss being in the kitchen with people more? Because you've spent so much time in that. No?
No. I think about doing pop-ups every now and then. I miss I do miss the feeling of a well-oiled machine, like a good team that's fluently doing the work, and the best I could get at that. Like, I don't want to like it's not worth it to me to like start a full-size kitchen job anymore. I'm fucking done with it. I'm not working line anymore. I'm not interested. So the closest I can get to that now is going to be doing pop-ups, where it's like me and one, maybe two other people.
Yeah, small team.
Yeah, and dude, I got a ton of ideas for shit.
I know you do, and I know you are both good at and enjoy both being in charge and having a leadership position. I've never really had the experience, but I'm sure the feeling of running something bigger than yourself with people cooperating to your leadership and things running very smoothly is deeply satisfying.
Actually, here's a fun idea. You and me should write a menu together. For me.
What is writing a menu like? Because you're choosing all the dishes too, right?
Yeah. For me, it's I love it. I love doing it. It's fun. I think of it like a game.
Okay.
So it depends. You can start from a couple different directions. You can start with a theme or a type of cuisine.
You want to do a menu writing episode?
I would love to do that.
Let's do it. Put it on the books.
Yeah, I'll walk you through my process. Actually, this is dope knowledge for anyone that's ever considered working in a kitchen or wanting to do, like dinner parties or some shit like that. Like, I will give you the insider secrets to make that shit easy as fuck and fun.
Gourmet trash cat style.
Yeah. Dude, that sounds fucking awesome.
Let's do it. I wrote it down. So it exists.
It's in the books now. It's there.
It's in the books.
I think just the concept of us sitting down and putting something together, I'll save it for that.
Okay.
I'll save it for that. If we're going to do that, I'll save it. But we'll have fun. It'll be cool.
Yeah. Oatmeal and ice cream is going to be an amazing dessert.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the thing is, do you make it a dessert or do you make it a
whole
an
meal?
Amuse-bouche? Yeah, it's seven courses. They're all oatmeal and ice cream.
Dude, I've probably
the cheapest food cost ever.
Dude, I probably ate oatmeal and ice cream 16 out of the last 30 days. And it's probably half of my food for that day.
Can I tell you my go-to lately has been salad in a bag. I've been going to Sam's Club and they have, it's like a prepackaged salad mix and it's got
it's just crunchy water. It's bullshit.
It's got like the shit. It's got like a dressing pack in it and like some of them, like they're all different. Like one's like a Southwest and it's got like some shredded cheese and some crunchy shit and you put it in there or the other one's like broccoli and some other shit and but they're really good, and they're like less than $2.50 each. So I've been buying those up, and like I take them to work with me, and I just eat it out of the fucking bag. I mix it up in the bag,
Yeah.
and eat it out with a fucking, I have my own utensils or whatever.
I'd rather eat straight spinach most of the time over a salad, though. I don't like most of the different lettuces or whatever in
any kind
traditional
of
salad.
Any kind of like dressing on that, or just straight spinach?
If I have the choice, I go light ranch with a shit ton of black pepper.
Okay.
And it's like coated in pepper dust every bite.
All right, Popeye.
And I sneeze, and my snot mixes in the ranch, and it's delicious.
It lubricates the salad for you.
And I don't even have to chew it. It just wet spinach sliding down my throat like a trash bag. Perfect.
I like, I can't think of a green leafy thing I don't like. I used to be picky about kale, but like, even
Kale's
like
so good.
curly kale, people are like, oh, I won't, it's too tough, or, you gotta massage it, and like, it's easier for your body to digest if you massage it, but I don't know, I fuck with kale. You take a nice crisp piece of kale and dip it in like some garlic sauce.
That sounds dope.
Oh.
But I'll massage muscles, right? Human beings. I will never massage a vegetable. If I have to massage it, I'm not eating it.
That's fair. I'm super down with that. For like serving it to people, if I was like having people over and I wanted to make a salad with kale, I'd probably do baby kale because you don't have to, but you can get some really good flavors out of kale by doing that. If you take like a little bit of lemon juice and some orange juice and some salt, and you like massage it into the kale that way, it breaks it down. It makes it nice. Or like some tahini dressing and kale. Oh,
I fry my kale with sriracha.
Yeah, that's fair too.
Sriracha and butter.
You don't have to massage it if you cook it.
Okay. I guess that makes sense.
It's just to break down the tissue of it, and your body digests it a little bit better.
Are you talking about eating this kale uncooked?
In a salad, yeah.
Oh, I don't think I like it in a salad. I mean, I probably still
it.
would eat it. I'll eat anything if I'm hungry, but I don't think it'd be my go-to.
I would say kale's definitely an acquired taste. I feel like this is so behind the, like kale's old news now, but it was, I feel like for a lot of people, like just started getting into it like 5-6 years ago. And, no, it's definitely an acquired taste. If you don't fuck with it much, like you got to have it more often, but it's really good for you. And it's, but it actually, you can get a lot of good flavors out of it if you fuck with it right. But that's my other secret is just buy baby kale.
Yeah.
It's not expensive, and you don't have to fuck with it. It's just ready for a salad all the time.
Now, a lot of people want to eat healthy.
Yeah.
But what I don't think gets talked about enough is just eat like shit, work out a lot, and then take vitamins. Like, it really doesn't matter what the fuck you eat that much.
Right. The thing is, it's easier to diet than it is to work out.
That is up for debate.
I feel okay. So as far as like energy expended, it's easier to eat healthier food than it is to.
Yeah, I understand. But
working out is more of a entire lifestyle change for people that don't work out.
It is. As like an addict personality, it's way harder for me to eat consistently healthy than it is to work out, because I'm both addicted to food and working out. So I'll work out while eating shit food. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's probably better for you anyways, long term too.
Maybe it depends on what's happening to your heart. I don't.
It depends on how shitty the food you're talking is.
Yeah, like if you're
eating oatmeal and ice cream.
Yeah, I'll eat oatmeal and ice cream while biking 20 miles.
Honestly, I mean, so here's the thing too: is like what's bad in ice cream? Sugar, number one. Arguably dairy, like the fats in dairy, but
none of those things are. I feel like when people talk about why food is bad, the thing is none of it's bad. None of it is bad inherently.
right,
It's how much of it is.
right, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So like you can. I was talking to someone about this today. Actually, we were talking about Taco Bell, and it's like I absolutely fuck with Taco. The way it even came up in conversation was you ragging on me for Taco Bell.
Well, there may be debate on that because there's a lot of potentially poisonous shit in there.
Yeah, but
very limited. But
so the concept being that, but you could still have that in small amounts,
definitely,
and you're totally fucking fine.
Yeah, for sure.
You're talking about like
it's like you smoke crack on Monday, you do heroin on Friday, and then in between you do psychedelics. You gotta mix it up.
You gotta mix it up.
Yeah.
You can't do it all.
Yeah.
The idea of processed food, I mean, obviously there's some shit's more processed than others, but I used to work at a place where people would come in and like, oh, it's processed. And it's like, processed sugar. And it's like, this is like raw sugar cane. Like this is raw sugar.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing done to it except like they extract it from the fucking, the woody pole that it comes in usually. It's like so that we can use it.
Yeah. You want things to be processed. Like,
yeah. It's not like processed, like bleached, like fine grain white sugar. These are like, big fucking hunkin' crystals of like pure sugar. It's like the whole thing, especially with, so the process thing, it's like anything that you buy that's like, when you cut an onion, you're processing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like starting from that, like, and then like the organic shit, like the laws on that are so fucking lax. There's like, usually it even just means that like they don't spray it with pesticides within like a couple weeks before they harvest it.
Right.
It doesn't mean they don't use any at all.
Yeah.
It just means they don't spray it right before they harvest it. And then like the
joke.
soil, there's like there's a little bit more, prohibited shit. So like when you buy organic avocados, it's fucking pointless. It's inside of a shell. It still grew on ground where there's, pesticides and shit being used. It's not,
unless you see it being grown, like you have a personal connection to the land.
You do it yourself, and
you don't know what you're getting. Now, everyone likes to act like they fucking know. There's no fucking way to know. You're not there. Like like you said, the rules on what is called what, especially with food, it's all just garbage.
Here's a cool part. So if you've ever been to a big farmer's market, and this is still true of people that are like our farmers. I've seen people pull up with like pallets and pallets and pallets of like shit that, it's the same shit that they get over at Costco. It's the same shit they get over at Sam's Club or at Kroger. It's the same fucking produce, because I recognize the containers that it comes in, and then they take it, they bring it out, out of their truck, and they set it up on the table in these, wicker baskets or, whatever the fuck they use. And then they go hide their truck down the block so you don't see it. So you don't see all the boxes in the back of all the shit that they just got from fucking Costco.
That's funny.
Maybe they grow, some shit and they needed to, fill in the gaps. So they made, this is like part of their job. They have to come and sell this shit. If they have a bad harvest that week or they don't have enough shit to sell, then fuck, they got to get some more shit. And they're still going to make a profit on it because you're going to pay twice as much what they did because they bought it wholesale.
Yeah.
And you're going to pay for, farmers quality shit. And I've seen that at multiple different farmers markets. So like
That's really funny. Here's one. Did you see, I forget what states it is, but I know it's Ohio for sure, the change in gun laws?
No.
Dude, open carry. Everywhere. No conceal and carry needed.
In Ohio?
Yeah.
Okay.
It goes into place in like 30 to 90 days or some shit. But it's like 14 states passed it.
Okay.
It's a lot of states.
Do you know if Michigan did?
I think, but I don't know.
Because I know Michigan, I forget the whole situation on that. I feel like the concept is like, it's not that open carry is legal. They just don't have a law against it.
Interesting.
They have like really lax regulation on it. Concealed carry is a lot more difficult, but the open carry is lax.
The name of it is some bullshit. Or it's not sovereign citizen, but it's got some.
It's
like
the Rittenhouse rule.
Not quite. Yeah, I think more people in Ohio are glad about it. Mm-hmm. You know what? Actually, shout out to my buddy Danny. He's the guy that has been trying to help me out do my brakes. We've been trying to get together for like a month to do it. 2 months, really. And we both just haven't been able to line up because work shit. And it's so frustrating to not have that time. But he's my buddy. And he mentioned this. He thought we might have a decent conversation about it. But what do you think about open carry? No license required. Right? You can defend your own castle. You are your castle. You can just carry your gun anywhere.
I mean, I feel like it's fine, and it's one of those things. It's like, would everyone be safer if guns had never been invented? Sure, but we don't live in that world, and everyone around you has a gun anyways. Then there's no reason for you not to. The issue is if everyone that had a gun was responsible with it, it'd be totally fine. There'd be no issues, right? Mm-hmm. But we both know that that's not the case.
Never happened, yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is, I feel split. Overall, I think it's a good thing. And I was trying to get my thoughts together poorly. And the thing is if countries that are not near a bunch of other countries, they don't have a bunch of bordered neighbors that have a lot of guns. If they do harsh gun laws, their gun violence extremely goes down. Mm-hmm. Like the countries that lock down guns have way, way less gun deaths, right? But you can't do that in a country as big as the United States, where each state makes their own ruling on that. So even if you're, in New York or whatever, and you lock it the fuck down, it's not going to change shit. And you're just feeding the prison system. Yeah. So as much as I'd rather, an entire nation not need to have guns, unless every state is going to lock down. And the reality is we're too paranoid of our government to give up our arms. Right. For right or wrong, but that's just how it is. I think, in the meantime, I think we should have that right. The law was in relation to upholding the Constitution, where any man, woman, child should have the ability to bear arms, regardless of what their state law. I forget the exact name. But to me, it always seemed kind of goofy that the right to bear arms could be in the Constitution, but then you couldn't have a weapon. Like, that's so fucking stupid. I've been arrested for a pocket knife before. Like, how the fuck does that work, where the Constitution says, you're a free man, you have the right to defend yourself. Right. But if I walk around with a pocket knife, I can go to jail? Like, that's fucking so stupid.
I think that's why, people go back to the, when they mention that, they're like, the guns that people had back then were fucking muskets and shit. So, you can have a rifle now. You're cool with a rifle. You can get a rifle easy. It's pistols that are super hard to get. Pistols are people killers.
They are.
No one's going, gunning down people with a long 22.
You're correct. Pistols by far kill the most people. Most murders are pistols, right? But it's
right.
so goofy when you can get a military grade assault rifle, and that's the gun that's going to be used in a mass shooting.
Right.
Even though most of the murders are going to be with pistols. It's just really goofy how this is all played out. And the same way with drugs, I feel like it should all fucking be legal, right? Inanimate pieces of plastic and metal don't do shit, right? The person is always responsible. And I feel as strong about guns as I do abortion. Right? In fact, I think we should do all abortions with guns. Okay? That's the world I want to live in. The doctor's on heroin and he just shoots the little baby out of you and we're good to go. Okay? I want to live in trash world. I don't want to... That's the thing is, we're in America. We pretend we're all together and we're such a nice... civil, industrious nation, making money, feeding babies, and the reality is we're just a piece of shit swamp.
I want to clip side by side of you, first of you saying that, of like the utopia that I want to live in is, you know, like the doctor strung out and he's doing. He's giving abortions with a gun and all this crazy, all the other nonsense, like absolute batshit, you know, portraits you paint of this society. And then after that be like, and Ireland was trash.
Right? Oh my like, God. It was so much worse there. What a garbage nation.
Thinking, well, that just paints like, this is Steven's idea of the ideal society. And then, and that he doesn't like Ireland. So by contrast, sounds like Ireland's a pretty all right place.
Dude, I had
pretty chill hang.
I had the worst trip of my life in Ireland. It was miserable. Oh my God. I hate that place so much.
Why'd you go to Ireland?
Family trip. My grandpa, he was a judge, art dealer, made lots of money, took the whole extended family to Ireland, right? And he didn't want to go at all. Right, but my grandma
He's
did.
Like, here, your grandma wanted to go. Okay.
Yeah, so it's like 50 of us on a tour, like a big ass tour bus, right? And my grandma has
That's part of the problem is you were with.
Oh yeah,
a bunch of your it's like a long ass family reunion you don't get to go home from.
Yeah, my entire family, right?
Yeah, that sounds like it sucks.
We have an hour by hour itinerary. We saw every fucking stupid shit old castle and every church, whatever. And we had a priest. So the itinerary was to the hour and we had a priest on the bus, right? I listened to Crown Thy Fornicator by Cyclone 9, one of my old favorite albums, 57 times in a week. I'm bleeding everywhere. I'm like mutilating the fuck. I was like, so fucking suicidal. It was terrible. And the fields are nice, okay? I give it to Ireland. They have good grass, okay? That's it. That's all they have is shitty cooked fish and lots of grass, okay? And a bunch of people who have stupid red hair and believe in God. That's Ireland.
God damn.
That's Ireland. All they can do for us Americans is help us cheat our taxes and give us people like Conor McGregor. Sweet.
When you were talking about you were on the bus and you had a priest on the bus with you and all this shit, and you said I was waiting for the next words to come out of your mouth to be like, you know, they sung Amazing Grace 1,000 times or some shit. And then he said, Crown Thy Fornicator. I'm like, I don't know that hymn.
That's funny. No, I just satanic music all week. I mean, it's pretty, but dude, I mean, it's boring as fuck. You probably would love it, living off in the middle of some field, isolated.
Well, here's the thing: if I go to Ireland, and I've planned on it for a little bit with a friend of mine from Florida. Oh, he's not from Florida. He's from Ireland. But he met a woman in Florida and moved down there.
This sounds really bad.
You saying that's really bad?
Going to Ireland with a friend from Florida. This is rough.
No. So he's from Ireland. He grew up there. He was the one of the lead percussionists for Riverdance for a long time.
Oh no. Okay.
I met him because he would play in the Irish pub down the street, and when he would come in, we would hang out after his set, and me and him and the bar owners would sit out in the back and just fucking drink Guinness for 5 hours, and then this chill ass dude, super fucking cool, but he was trying to organize a group trip, and he's like, we'll all go over there. He's like, we can do some of the touristy shit if you want to, but I'll take you to the cool places. I'll take you to where the locals go, and we'll have a good time.
Definitely.
And it's if I do it, that's the way I want to do it.
So
that would be a lot more fun.
I know you have good taste in people. This dude was cool. He's a musician, right?
Yeah.
Okay, can we get him on the podcast and interview him why he likes such garbage fucking music? It doesn't... What type... He played percussion in...
For Riverdance.
Oh my god. That's terrible.
Why is that terrible?
Riverdance.
I mean, okay, I'm not saying I'm about to go out and buy a ticket to Riverdance, but I'm saying, if you get a job where you're going to tour the world and make a fuckload of money, it's not like he's out there fucking tap dancing and shit. He's playing drums.
For river dancers. I would really love to hear, because either way, even if I think the music's trash, I'd respect a professional musician. Whatever, it's cool. He's doing that, and he's got a really cool talent. But I don't understand.
Riverdance music is not his life, though. That's not what he listens to when he's chilling at home.
But how
he listens to funk and shit.
But how the fuck could you even bear playing such trash? Right?
Fucking
music
money, dog.
Is your love, right?
It's money, dog.
But all right, that's
maybe
the equivalent.
He does enjoy it, but it's still I've done plenty of jobs that I didn't like because the money was good.
I can't. Not if it's my if my passion is doing my art, I can do some graphic design. I wanted to do tattooing, right? But there's no way I could design heart and butterfly tattoos all week.
To your argument, like I said, all it took was he met a girl in Florida, and he quit. He was like, well, fuck that. I'll find something else, and I'll stay here.
Yeah.
So, he had a kid or whatever, and now he plays. Now he got hired by Disney, but for a while he was just playing local Irish pubs near Tampa and shit.
God, if you're good enough to get hired by Disney, though, he obviously was very good. I mean, that's got to be miserable, though. To play music you hate.
Well, he plays traditional Irish drinking songs and folk songs and shit. And I'm sure they get old to play, but they're fun fucking songs. So here's the thing: is I've heard. So we St. Paddy's Day just passed, and what that means is and anyone that works in a bar or restaurant definitely knows this. St. Paddy's Day is awful for restaurant workers. Yeah, so first of all, it's great for the restaurant because they make a ton of money on, you just load up on Guinness, and there's always a fucking fake ass Irish thing like corned beef and cabbage or some shit.
There's drunk leprechauns puking up green vomit everywhere.
Right. So you got all these fucking assholes in here talking about how they're Irish. They were born 3 blocks away, but they're Irish.
Right.
And they but the other one is the music. So there's not that many Irish go-to songs. If you put on any playlist or something a Spotify Irish, even Irish punk rock or something, it still comes up with just faster versions of the same shit. Anyway,
if you listen to Dropkick Murphys, you're a piece of shit. Just throwing it out.
That's fair. Yeah. That's absolutely fair. So it's all that shit over and over again. I know a lot of these songs because I've heard him play them.
Yeah.
And never heard a better version or a version I liked more of like nearly all of them than the ones that he did. I kind of like Metallica's version of Whiskey in the Jar.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
Whiskey in the Jarro.
Yeah.
Dude, that Metallica documentary, Some Kind of Monster, incredible.
Yeah.
Okay? What a stupid decision by such a stupid group of musicians. Dude, it is an amazing documentary, but it makes them look like sniveling idiots. Like, it destroys any reputation of like a heavy metal band.
Yeah.
It was the worst thing they could do. It's amazing.
Okay, dope. Yeah, I'll watch it.
You'll love it, dude. I mean, it's great. I just can't. They put themselves out there so much. They have this stupid soft therapist named Phil leading them around all their band decisions as they write a terrible album. It's very fun. They're like, well, you make me feel about my alcoholism that we shouldn't do this, or you talk too much, buddy. And it's just them like writing an album with their therapist. It's so bad.
That sucks.
It's very fun though. I mean, it's like you don't ever get to see a band on that big of a level to like.
Here's the other one too. Think of the privilege we have of knowing Metallica from like their entire career now, right? So like Metallica's old news, it's old shit to us.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine being our age and Metallica like just starts coming around, and like what do you have to compare that to? Like you had. So it was like early 80s, right? Were they late 70s?
I think more 80s.
So like around that time, it's like the hardest shit you had before that was like Black Sabbath, and there's a lot of more obscure shit, but like they were one of the first to do like super hard shit.
Kinda. Here's the thing, is music then really did suck, right? Like there was so much less. And
now here's the question is, do you only think that because you have something to compare it to now?
Yes, I fully see that. But the reality is there was so much less good music because there just was less music and entire genres hadn't even been defined yet. But there have always been very obscure things that weren't ever mainstream and would be nearly impossible to find because of the nature of music without the internet, just random shit at record stores, right? There was stuff way fucking harder than a Black Sabbath way earlier, but the chance of finding it was so low, and it still would suck and be soft as fuck compared to anything today. And it will keep generating that way continuously.
Mm-hmm.
Music will always expand. I heard a good quote by this rapper that's a piece of shit, did not want to conform to any of top 10 Billboard rappers.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't listen to other rap, right?
Right.
But his music sucked. And someone that was interviewing him basically said, you should strive to find yourself, but the people at the top, regardless of if you think they're the Billboard people or not, the people at the top are the ones that define the standards and the guardrails, right? Like, You're meant to go past them a little bit, but you also, it gives you somewhere to fit in and to find a version of that is yourself. And over time, the genres slowly continue to evolve, every once in a while by leaps and bounds, but it just took a long time for music to expand to the point it did where there could be such interesting, aggressive, or obscure music. But it's just going to keep getting cooler and cooler. I just wish I could enjoy it the same way I used to.
I feel like that's a really long and old trope, especially in music, and a lot of like rock bands too, was like oh, we're not going to conform to all the radio shit. And it's like, is it that, or is it because you suck?
Oh yeah.
Is that why you're not making it? Is because you suck?
Like every punk band.
Like every punk band.
There's like literally, there's hundreds of punk bands people think are good. There's like actually 5 good punk bands. That's pretty much it. They don't, right? Every other punk band. They don't
conform to the standard.
No, they're lazy drug addicts who can't write a fucking album. And the irony is one of the best punk bands is Leftover Crack. All punk bands fucking suck. They have 1 or 2 good songs per an album, and the rest sucks, and people just remember them like they're awesome, even though their music is terrible. And then there's like actually only a couple decent punk bands.
So in the 70s, before Metallica, right, you would have, to compare them, you had Black Sabbath in the early 70s, you had Deep Purple, Kiss.
Yeah.
I fuck with some Kiss.
No.
I don't really like their studio recorded shit, but their live versions of all their music is what I listened to growing up.
I understand, but it's not good.
Okay.
I get it.
Okay.
I like Nugent, lots of bad music too.
Judas Priest, Rush.
There is harder shit though.
Van Halen.
We just don't know them. You know what I mean? And Van Halen had some harder stuff earlier. But there were other hard bands. They're just not... They had no visibility. And think of how many bands never even got a record deal back then. Because they couldn't put out their own music.
Right.
So
they relied on that radio play.
Yeah, like there definitely was some random group of teenagers in New Zealand who did shit like Black Sabbath, but was way fucking harder. But there were maybe 10 people in the world that ever heard them play. You know what I mean? Like there was some rapper in Brooklyn or whatever the fuck that was doing the dopest, illest shit ever, but no one ever heard him rap, you know?
Yeah. True.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens, though, in a lot of these genres. Like, clout rap's died. Metal has fallen off, mostly.
I mean, it's definitely more of a sective, and I feel like progressive metal is taking off in a more advanced way than it has before.
It's getting technical.
Yeah, you see more people getting into, or at least I see more people getting into, like Between the Buried and Me, or fucking
Animals as Leaders.
Animals as Leaders. They're coming in concert here soon.
They will be an outstanding concert.
The other one is Mastodon. They're still fucking cranking shit. I actually recently watched a Mastodon. They do, for the last several of their albums, they've been doing like a making of the album, and like they kind of go back and they're talking about the writing and like different riffs and different shit, and like their processes and how it works and how it like it's definitely like a lot of they include influence from their life. A lot of grief and shit, but those are good documentaries.
Everything's going to be leading more and more electronic, even in metal. The problem that the metal community is finding is guitar is a weird instrument, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's very few guitarists that make guitar sound organic and natural. It always has this electric whine to it, unless you are extremely good. Like, Animals as Leaders, some of the, like Buried in Me, whatever, they can solo and do amazing shit and make it feel pretty organic. It slithers like a snake. They can build melodies, whatever. Very few people can do that, and most of the people in that realm, it sounds electric and harsh and just like an outdated instrument in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
That is the problem with metal. So things are going more and more electronic. There's more and more crossover. Thank God dubstep has died down because that shit fucking sucked for the most part. But everything's going more electronic, and they're finding, if you heard any of the like algorithm musics, like they made a new Nirvana song and a new, like, not Katy Perry, The stupid gothy bitch that died.
Amy Winehouse?
Yeah, that dumb bitch. Yeah, her. They made a new like
I don't know anything about Amy Winehouse. It just seems like out of the blue, out of the box, like so violently against Amy Winehouse.
I hate her. All right, she's can sing okay, but she sucked. Okay, she just sucks. So there was a new Joe Rogan played it at one point, but Amy Winehouse, Nirvana, and Jimi Hendrix.
It's just like AI generated shit.
Yeah, and it's almost indistinguishable. Like if you're a hardcore fan or you're like really listening, you can tell. But if you heard it casually or didn't know their music or it was all new to you, you would not know.
That's a trip.
It's pretty fucking amazing. So at some point we're going in just like Tupac holograms, like concerts. We will have new albums by Tupac. 100%. In the next 10 years, they will be putting out new Tupac albums.
I mean, that's a thing that people are doing still, is doing like dropping collabs with like
dead
rappers and shit. Yeah.
It's gross. It's really
like, what
gross.
the fuck are you doing? Like, this motherfucker died 3 years ago.
I think I think it can be okay if you know the rapper's intention would be that they wanted it.
Right, yeah.
But a lot of them,
if it was like
it's
your
a
boy
money
or
grab.
something, you know, but like...
Yeah, it's a money grab.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Music's going to get interesting because we're going to see like collabs between dead and living musicians or just dead music. Like music will keep changing shapes. I think genre bending is going to become more and more of a thing, which is awesome. Mr. Bungle killed it through the originals, but we're going to see all kinds of like weird, twisty crossovers of music and like different timelines collide. And I think that'll be fun.
Yeah.
It's a very challenging place to be a young musician now. That's for sure, though.
I feel like, well, you speaking of fun collab, like new collabs and shit. I can't, this isn't really new. It's been happening for a while. It's just new to me. I saw that Rob Halford's been touring with Baby Metal.
I know both of those names, so I don't think I've.
Rob Halford is the lead singer of Judas Priest.
Okay, that
and
sounds terrible.
Baby Metal is the
chick band.
Yeah, the
right?
Japanese, death metal band with, it's got like the like idol thing going with it. It's very original.
But all right, Judas Priest vocals are terrible.
I disagree on that too.
They're one of the worst singing bands.
I definitely can't say it's one of the worst. That's definitely not true.
Up there.
Judas
Priest ruined every song they ever made by opening their mouths. Okay, and all these old fuck hardcore metalheads that still like Judas Priest, get the fuck over it. Okay, why don't people update their music? It's like our parents, right? They're like, oh, at least my parents. They're like, oh, I don't know how to use a fucking computer. It was too early in my life. It's like you had 30 more years. You grew up with it. You know what I mean? When you hear an old person like, oh, it was before my time. No, it wasn't. It was your whole life. You lived through the start, the middle, and to now.
Yeah.
How did you not update?
It's one if they're like old, if they were like, you think of like your grandparents or something trying to learn how to use a computer. I get that.
No, they're dumb. All old people are dumb.
The difference...
Get smarter, old people.
I don't resonate with that because both my parents are like, they're tech savvy people. So luckily I don't have to deal with that.
But people.
I know what you mean, but like on a I encounter it, but on a regular basis, like I don't deal with that.
I just have no sympathy for people like, oh, I don't understand.
My dad's been building his own computer since he was able to, since, he had the accessibility to it.
That's awesome. But there's no excuse for people that live through stuff.
Yeah. Well, also there's a difference too. I'm not arguing against your point. I wanted to point this out because I got into conversation about this today. It's like, what a crazy time in the technological sense to be alive right now, where technology in the last, you can even say 50 years, just the last 50 years, has evolved more. The rate at which technology is accelerated it's like, I don't know. I can't, because you can
Moore's Law.
You can take an invention from, even like the car. And if you went back, 100 years before that, I feel like that would be like, wow, that's wild. But I feel like it would still be like explainable and you could talk it through. But like if you took, you took a fucking smartphone back to 1970s.
Oh yeah.
You're going to be hung for witchcraft.
It had more power than space shuttles.
Yeah.
That we've talked about this before, but the Moore's Law thing, that the number of transistors on a microchip doubles about every 2 years, though the cost of computers is halved. So it's expanding and progressing so much faster than they ever thought possible.
It's fucking exponential and
yeah,
just insane.
And the latest apparently is that they're still saying Moore's Law is valid, but its relevance is diminishing. It's not still able to currently double. Yeah. And there's been a relatively higher amount of stalling in technological advancement, but it is still accelerating dramatically. Yeah. And you're right, for any one lifetime, technology has changed more than it has in all of history.
Imagine being born and witnessing first, like, all of your music was on a record, and if you had access to television, it was black and white. And then within your lifetime, before you are, before you're even, retired, you are, you're in today.
Now, if you compare that to changes in like social freedoms or liberties, like just the rights of people, it's pretty disgusting if you think of like
exactly
how we can get to the moon and back, we can build things that have never been built, we can bend particles and shit. We're about to be able to time travel, right? But we like still hate black people, gay, whatever it is.
So it's because
anti-drug,
it's
whatever.
Easier to make new things than it is to change old ones.
True. Good point. Is that Richard's Law?
Yeah, that was just off the dome.
I like it.
Just came
That's
up
true,
with that.
man. It's because we have to wait for the old dumb people to die.
Once they die, and then the people that they infected also die, then we'll have a clean and, hate-free society.
Well,
but we can't get there. We can't have good things until the old people die.
This may be our last big point. Two things.
Yeah.
I don't think any form of a hate-free society can exist.
Same.
Okay.
I agree.
That was
a joke, but yeah.
Always be something. We'll always find lines to draw to dislike other people. And then
when it comes down to it, I just don't like the cut of your jib.
Exactly. Those damn jibs.
It sounds like it's a wrong thing to say.
Oh, yeah, those jibs. All right, and then I don't really think... I think a very small amount of people are susceptible to change, right? And I think in a lot of ways, even in the last episode, I'll make fun of myself. In the abortion argument, being able to share a perspective that may impact a very small percentage of other men in the position I was to hopefully change some small percentage of outcomes. The idea of that is great. The reality of that, even with a major platform, even if you're the biggest podcaster, whatever YouTuber in the world, you're very unlikely to change anything, right?
You're speaking to people who agree with you already, anyways.
Yeah,
and talking into an echo chamber. Because if I don't like what you're saying, I can just turn it off.
Yeah, I don't think I think it would also be shitty to say you can't affect the conscious, subconscious of communities, people, but to claim any responsibility for changing or altering a thought, I think would be arrogant and foolish. You're more just making doing it for yourself, right?
When it comes to affecting that change, if you're trying to reach out to people with the same idea they've heard before, but affect them in a way that changes their mind, you have to approach them differently about it, right? So you have to make it more relatable to them, which, it's different for people, but like by your logic even, it makes sense that if you want to change the opinions of men, sometimes you need a man to do that because they can come from a point to relate. So like they can.
Let me pose this will be negative, but I think it has some value. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to do it too. When is the last time you've truly helped someone in the sense that you have made a lasting, sustainable change, either in their thinking or in their life, that they will benefit from? Like, truly helped a person. I know for myself, I can think of maybe one or two things in like the last 5 years, but that would even be generous and I feel like arrogant to claim, right? I don't think I'm...
I think more of my effect on people I've worked with I'm not sure, like, so much long-term how that affects them, like maybe something I taught them or something like that helps them out, but I like to think that at least my actions made someone hate their job less, which, I mean, that could be something that's incredible or something that's like, fucking whatever.
Now, to that point, you would like to think that. I would like to think that. And I think all those small ways or subconscious ways have an effect over a lifetime. I would never say, like, not to ever try to help people because it doesn't matter. I think it is important even if it doesn't change anything. But I do think, like, the reminder of it's not changing anything unless it's like you can't change a group of people, right? It's like the zebra problem, right? The zebras morph into a being bigger than themselves. Your words can't like amputate one zebra and affect them. It's such a small chance of getting through. I feel like it's that way with people where unless you really like take a person under your wing, work with them to get through something, you can't make a real change or a real way to help them. Mm-hmm. I just don't. I don't even think you can. Like you can affect their work hours or like in that kind of environment. I think it's like you almost have to like be living with that person, with them every day.
In some cases, that was definitely true with people I worked with.
Yeah.
That's why there comes a certain point, especially in the food industry, where you stop seeing your coworkers as coworkers or friends or even like they become family at that point because you see them more than you ever see any of your family. You're with them every single day. You have shared trauma of, shitty customers or shitty nights or, stuff that like you all feel it.
And I understand.
But I'm not saying that it's the same thing as what you're saying, but I'm saying that that is a situation where I feel like I know where you're coming from with that though.
Yeah, because it's just even people you think you help though, like time passes, and
let me ask you this.
It's just all meaningless.
Let me turn it around a little bit. When was the last time that someone affected you, helped you in a way that affected you like that?
I can think of a couple things.
In the last 5 years? No, let me instead of answering that, let me ask you, because that's less important. Let me ask you this. Do you think...
I was going to put you in that category, by the way.
Thank you.
Sure. Yeah.
I was going to say, do you think to those people that it felt like they were enduring the type of situation that you were describing? Do you think to them it was like they basically have to be living with you, or they have to be like constantly, over top of you to affect that change?
All right. That is a really good point. And I definitely take that and give you that. You're right in that it doesn't have to be that way. Definitely doesn't.
I can see where it feels more like to affect that change in other people. It's not always going to be as easy because people aren't going to be always as receptive. But even something small can make a huge difference to people.
That's what I was going to say, is when I think like of like you or Sam visiting me, you know what I mean? Like that shit meant a lot, right? Mm-hmm. Those kind of things stick. But I guess what I'm struggling with, let's say, like I can think of a handful of things that helped me that kind of way. But when I think over time, I think those things, like, they still matter, but I don't think they ever change anything. You know?
If it paints it
changes your perception of the world, but But I think it's so hard for anything to make a big enough impact to alter a life perspective. I just think it's hard. I don't think it's impossible.
I will say
it's like chiseling.
It's definitely harder to do that with positive reinforcement than it is with negative.
Yes.
When people fear and the instinct to survive, we're adapted to, like, it's just natural. Our brains do that quicker when you're in peril, when you're in a danger.
Yeah, you're 2 for 2 with that. Your last quote too, the negative being harder to, and it shouldn't be that way, but it just is. It's just how emotions work. It is much harder to find strength than despair. It's interesting how negative the brain works against us, you know?
And I mean, it's like we said with the dissociation thing. Like sometimes it's a survival thing. Like it's ultimately it's for you, but it's especially in our
so you don't get your hopes too high, so you don't get hurt again.
Yeah,
so,
it removes you from that. You put your walls up and you back
Stay
up
safe.
And you're on defense mode, and it's like, but you can't. You're not gonna grow in defense mode. You're gonna survive.
Yeah,
but you're not gonna grow.
I once was told by the woman I was too much of a porcupine.
Too prickly to touch.
Yeah, just too spiky.
Cute to look at, but too prickly to touch.
That's actually what she said. It's pretty funny. We had a good laugh about it. What's the message to put if all the walls are up, people are spiky? Do you still put the voice out to be heard, even though it ain't gonna do shit or very little?
I mean, I
feel long-term change.
I feel like that depends on you. I feel like I would say yes, but I'm ever the optimist. Not ever the optimist. That's not true.
Yeah.
But I do. I was once again. So my coworker told me they went on a binge of listening to the podcast, and we were talking about like you and I's kind of back and forth. And like, I think both of us have a fair balance of, I feel like I'm more optimistic in a way. Like I can generalize and like, I don't have faith in people, but I'm hopeful. I have hope. Where I feel like you are so much further on the cynical and pessimistic side. The word I used earlier was to a point of absurdity.
I think that's pretty fair, because I don't know if I probably come off super cynical, and I feel that I really feel that way. Yeah. But it's stupid. Like, I think it's more anger than anything, right? Like,
right. And it's, I mean, I think one could argue that it's a coping mechanism to tolerate Definitely. It in the way that, like, even when I do something, I drop something and I say, oh, fuck, and you big stupid idiot. And it's like, it's not that big of a deal. You blow it out of proportion to make it, to put it into perspective. And then you can laugh about it, and so when you make a joke or something, or go, so beyond and something, and, it makes it takes the weight out of it.
Yeah. None of it matters anyway.
None of it matters. Time's a lie.
So true, dude. I'm time traveling all day. But I think maybe it doesn't matter, like you said, personal decision on if you try to put your voice out, sing it over the walls, right? Mm-hmm. But I think it's less important how your voice lands to the other people, but it's more important for it to be said for yourself.
I agree with that. I also want to say that maybe not everyone is listening to what you have to say, but some people are. And those people are more important than the masses will ever be.
Yeah, a lot of lurkers out there. And not a lot of people that joined the Discord.
Yeah, what's up with that? I was actually going to go the opposite way. I was going to make a joke about, like, you guys got to calm down. You guys flooded the Discord.
It's shut down. We can't even use it anymore.
We'll have it back up by the time you hear this.
We'll get it up ASAP.
Yeah, definitely check out the Discord. It's so quiet. It's just you, me, and John talking shit.
Dude, when I was editing the last episode, the Pat Robertson dying to death, shaking in Russia, I laughed. We just laughed for 10 minutes straight about him dying and abortion, and I just could not contain myself.
Oh, God damn it.
Oh, fuck.
Greatest podcast of all time.
Fuck yeah. Is there anything you want to do? I know next week we got some work to do.
Yeah, we'll talk about that once we close out of here.
Yeah.
I think that's good for today.
Yeah.
Thanks again for listening, everybody.
Yes.
Thank you to Approaching Human for the use of his music. You can find his work on SoundCloud at Approaching-Human.
Thanks, John.
You can also converse with Approaching Human if you join the Discord.
Also, if anybody checks out our Facebook, he did a recent interview podcast with another podcast, and it was a really good conversation. I shared it on Facebook. If anybody's interested, check it out. Get to learn about our weirdo musician and my brother.
Oh yeah, I wanted to shout out. I mentioned I had her as an honorable mention a while ago now. It feels like my Aunt Diane. That does art. She was recently on a podcast. If I can remember the name of the podcast. It was the Flying Fruit Bowl.
Okay.
It seems like it's a newer thing. I think it's a European-based podcast, but they were talking to her. There's like a 3-part thing of her interview with them.
Now, we don't want to be sharing any Nazi fruit podcasts. You never know with those European artists.
Well, they like abstract art. They have good taste if they like her art.
Yeah. So. send it to me. We'll put it on the mentions and post it too.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, also make sure to check out the show page at Trash Cats Trashcast on Instagram for news and art from the show. Check out Facebook for the memes.
For the memes. If you're super bored, you can check out my trash yard on Instagram at Skyzix, SKYZACX. I'm really happy with that last one.
Yeah, I really like that one too. That was fucking brutal.
Narcissa. I think that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get the fuck out of here.
That's going to be all for us today. Stay classy, eat trashy.
Go fast.